And I see you headed down in the Media Connection van. You went to the press conference this morning. Tell us about it. How was it?
Yeah. Well, as you know, these gas prices, especially in the inner city, are outrageous. So, Attorney Richard Boykin, who is a candidate for Cook County Board President, is asking that the board call an emergency meeting and go ahead and pass a freeze on the gas taxes. And he broke it down mathematically how much it would mean per gallon. And if you're filling up your car, $15, you can save a dollar and a half. But most of our cars you're talking about is take at least $30, $40, but you're saving $2, $3 each fill up. And those dollars add up. So the board could do it, and he's just asking that they do it because they met to vote themselves a pay raise, which, if you can do that, then you can do something for the constituents. So that's what he's asking. And, I'm sure that the state legislators and even federal legislators could follow suit because gas right now is so high. It really is affecting the quality of life for a lot of people.
Yes. If you have to decide whether you're going to feed your family or go to work to make some money to possibly take care of the family, that's a big challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
having challenges all day, every day. But I just had to interrupt your day for a few minutes. I had a revelation after meditation. Well, I should say during meditation this morning. We talked
Mm.
about meditate to activate. Well, I was activated. I've been activated all morning. And the thought came to me, wow, I've been contemplating when to start this series. So the series is starting itself on how to release the need that creates the patterns in my life. And after
Mm.
hearing you talking about the woman this morning on the show on Monday Morning Mindfulness, how when Brother Kwame, Elder Kwame said, we're talking about the elders and referring to the woman and the moon cycle and women having children and things, everything comes from a woman. And
Mm.
as a child, I never saw anything positive about a woman having a baby. There was
Wow.
always struggle. There was always a struggle. And that implanted the seed in my mind, unbeknownst to
Mm.
me at that time, that I didn't want to experience that struggle. So I made
Mm.
a conscious decision not to have children because I did
Ooh.
not want to experience that challenge was a fear. I realize that now. It was a fear
Mm.
that kept me from experiencing not only childbirth, which I'm not sorry about at all. I'm sorry, y'all. But experiencing meaningful relationships. Because especially for a woman over 40, and here I am 55 at the time when I got married, you know what you experience if you're not married. Like,
Mm.
what's wrong with you? He
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been born, or if he is born, I just haven't met him, and I'm not looking for him. And so, I digress. But the point is, getting back to the woman. Wow. I mean, I wish I could remember the exact words you said. You were so eloquent with it this morning. But just recognizing in your delivery of what you said and Baba Kwame, how we are impacted as children by what we see. So I lost
Yes.
out on the whole experience of motherhood. But I
Because
take it back. I
the
got
way you saw it
nephews in their
was
hands.
negative, and
Yes,
and
nothing but negativity.
and that does have an impact.
Yes, it
And things that
does.
are said, the idea that we've been given about womanhood has been very negative. We're
Yes,
just now doing a lot of those generational patterns of teaching a girl child that her purpose is to serve a man and that her
yes.
worth only comes if she has a man, and if she's not pretty enough she won't get a man. I mean, all of that self-hatred that we learn as female children. You can't teach a child to love themselves if you don't love yourself.
You sure
as
do.
a woman, if you're always believing that you're less than or unworthy or not going to get love because you're not attractive enough, you can't feel good about yourself, and you can't say the things to a child that would give them a healthy sense of self-esteem either.
No.
How many of us have had mothers that were constantly saying negative things to us that destroyed our self-esteem? The women who raised us didn't love themselves, many of them, because they were frustrated. They weren't allowed to expand their creativity. They weren't given opportunities to grow, to develop, to feel a sense of achievement. A lot of them felt stifled. And so when you don't feel good about yourself, you're not going to be able to give a child a sense of worthiness. And when you have women in a whole culture where the belief in the men is that women are second class and only here on earth to serve them, you're not going to have a healthy population. And I've observed that in those populations where women are treated badly, you have a lot of violent men because you have men who are raised by women who don't love themselves. So it's a cycle that we're just now learning to break. And a
Yes.
lot of women who feel good about themselves, they can raise children better because they can be more encouraging. They're not passing on their frustration or their suppressed anger. You know, all of those negative comments, that's really, it's the suppressed anger at oneself that comes out of the child saying you're so stupid, you're never going to be anything, you're never going to
Yes,
amount to anything.
ma'am. Yes,
Saying those kind
ma'am.
of negative
Yes,
things is a
ma'am.
reflection of how you're feeling on the inside. So when women feel better, then they can say better things to their children because, like we said this morning, when you can compliment somebody, it's because you feel good about yourself. But when you're always looking to say something negative to someone, it's a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And you think that if you can make them feel bad, or if you can make yourself feel better than them, then you'll feel better about yourself. It doesn't work, but that's what people think.
No.
And that's why you get that whole mean girl thing that that
Mm-hmm.
that, that female children do, especially around puberty when you got a lot of self-image problems. You're growing breasts and you might get teased if you're a little overweight or underweight. So we develop these cliques where we're mean. We'll pick out a scapegoat and bully them. That's such a pattern with females because of the way we raise females not to feel good about themselves.
Um,
And it's taking a long time for us to figure out that needs to change.
I often wondered, where did I ever, where was I? What was I doing when the thought first ever came to me that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't worth something, that I wasn't of value? And I know I'm not the only one because it shows
It's
up in our conversations and in our way of being. And
it's
you are
planted
so
early
spot
in our
on.
mind. It's deep in our subconscious. And it's like digging up an unwanted plant that has deep
Mm,
roots. You can't just
mm,
cut off the top. You have to
mm.
dig deep and pull up the roots. Usually that kind of feeling is so subconscious. It can be something that was felt even in the womb from our mothers who didn't love themselves.
Mm.
And if you don't love yourself, then you don't really feel that any child you're bringing forth
Wow.
is going to be worthy. And you can pass that feeling on before that child is born.
Mm.
A lot of us, that's where it comes from. Before we were even born, in utero, we felt the sense
Yes.
of
Yes.
rejection. And especially if you had mothers that may have gotten pregnant by someone who wasn't particularly loving of them, all of that feeling of rejection comes into the child. So it's very important that we have loving relationships when we are involved in intimacy that results in a pregnancy. If it's something where the man saying, "Well, I didn't want to. Why'd you get pregnant? I thought you had protection. I don't want this baby. If you decide to have you by yourself," I mean, all of that emotion is transferred to the child. So sometimes our feelings of unworthiness happen before we even left the womb. So you can imagine. And then if you're born into a culture where a boy child is valued and a girl child is not, and so then you come out of your mother and you can feel disappointment. Oh, it's a girl, especially before ultrasound. Oh, it's a girl. Like, ooh, it's a girl. So you feel that
Yes,
day of birth,
yes, you do.
feeling the rejection. And all of, oh, and then if you develop in a certain way, you're not considered physically attractive, any kind of thing. Your head shaped differently. Maybe your nose is bigger than what people
Big
decide is
forehead,
appropriate.
big ears, big chin,
Head, ears,
whatever.
lips, anything that others decide isn't the right proportion, then you're labeled ugly.
Right.
So growing up very early age, you get teased about how you look. And that's another thing ingrained in your brain about you're unworthy, especially for female children. The message we get is if you're not attractive, you are not worthy of love. And if you can't find anybody to love you, then
Mm,
you are worthless. Your life has no value. No matter what else you achieve, no matter how smart you are, no matter how athletic you are, no matter how many awards you get and other things, if you're not attractive, you're really not worthy of love.
mm.
That is the message we give to our girl children. And you have many families, you have the smartest girl, the daughter's top of the class, and still feeling bad about herself because somewhere someone in her family, maybe mother, father, aunt, uncle, someone puts the thought out there, yeah, she's smart but she's not too pretty, and so all of your
You carry
accomplishments
that with you.
are diminished
Carry that with you.
because you're
Oprah
not
even
pretty.
talks about it. She says, "Well, I may have not been that pretty, but I was smart." So that lets you know the seed was had been implanted in her as
Yeah.
well.
Yes. Yes. So
So,
your smartness isn't is it's not as valuable as
oh no,
being pretty, but at least you compensated by being as smart as you could, being the smart as you could be, but you still weren't quite worthy of love because you weren't pretty.
no, no.
That's the message that we get. And
That's the message.
we as women have to take the power that we have to define worth and change that culture of diminishing the worth of our daughters based on how they look. We have to do that.
Yes, we do. It's up to us, and that's what we do. If you just joined us on the Solution app, actually, this is the after show. What you're seeing there on the screen is RuPaul in himself and drag, and this is just to show you the screenshot from the Blog Talk platform because that's on in audio. The screen, what you see there, and that's the Female Solution right there in the middle, and that was just a today's show, just so you could see that. But while it's up here, I got to talk about it. The teen talent contest. Well, of course, the numbers, the pictures are changing, and that's Billy Porter in his fabulous pink. Well, the topic of the show was fatherhood and masculinity, and it's a hot show. So it's available on the blogtalkradio.com, the Female Solution platform, and it's also available on the Higher Learning Network TV show. So I just want
Before you tell them about more about the teen talent competition, I want to that interesting picture of RuPaul, beautiful as a female,
to, isn't he
but
no gorgeous? Oops, sorry about
gorgeous.
that. Where's Ru? Come
There
back.
are a lot
Ru.
of there, are, and I've heard from. Matter of fact, I've interviewed men who have dressed in drag, who
Oh, honey,
attend
but
drag
Billy
balls
Porter,
and everything.
fabulous, honey, just fabulous. I just love this
And
thing.
given a little bit of
Is he not
insight
hot?
about growing up.
Is he not?
You know,
And I know the brothers are saying, you know
hey,
what's wrong with you, but I'm just saying sometimes it take a man to show another woman how to dress, and I'm guilty of that because I'm t-shirts
a
and
lot,
blue jeans for
hey,
a girl, so But and I
and
never,
they the ones who love being feminine, they love being feminine. The highest
yes,
of
honey,
heels, the
yeah, no
longest of
t-shirts and them
eyelashes,
shoes
all
here,
of
honey. No, look at this, no. But I don't go anywhere like that, so but I'm sorry, I digress. You were talking about
you know.
RuPaul.
But the thing about it, uh, there's something inside of them that maybe feels an affinity toward being female. And we talked about this. You know, you could
Mm-hmm.
be having, you know, other life identities that sort of bleed through this one. But then also sometimes they get the reinforcement that female children are valued more than male children, especially in a household where a father might be absent and there might be girls, and trying to be a boy, you know, with all the high energy that boys have, it gets labeled as bad. So sometimes the male energy gets condemned by females who don't have a balanced view of what children should be like. And it happens in our schools all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
boys want to be loud, they want to run and play, it's labeled bad. It's labeled disobedient. It's labeled disruptive. Male energy is different.
Yes.
And when women don't understand that, then they crush a boy child and all of his aspirations and his self-esteem, because the women don't understand boy energy is different than girl energy. Just because you're loud, just because you're uh, uh, physical. And I mean, I had a when I was teaching fourth grade class, and two of the boys, they were very smart, but they were always wrestling. They were always, you know, throwing each other around, everything. And I'm trying to get the children to play a nice, quiet game. And next thing I know, they're still wrestling around. And you know, it took one of those fourth graders to explain to me, and he said, "But this is how we show affection." I thought, wow, okay, I got it.
Oh.
I got it. I didn't know that. I didn't have sons. I didn't realize
Oh.
that boys are very physical. I mean, they hit each other, they do all that, but that's a
Yeah.
boy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get it, then you stop thinking it's bad behavior. You understand they're very physical. That's how they are.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it isn't a thing that we should be punishing. We should allow them to express that physical nature that they have in ways that are not harmful. You know, the sports, the martial arts, all these different things, they can do that without it being harmful and hurtful. And we can understand the need that they have to do that, because that's human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things that we do comes from lack of understanding of the opposite sex, and the fact that there is a difference. There's a chemical difference, there's a biological difference, there's a behavioral difference as a result of that. So when you have a male child that maybe they exhibit more what's considered feminine traits, there might be various reasons for that. But still, like we said, we have to learn not to condemn people for whatever causes them to express their identity in the way that they do. And if we can learn to love every being unconditionally, regardless of how they look, how they sound, how they behave, love them for existing. And when we can do that, then we have evolved to a higher spiritual level, because that is how the love of the Creator is. All creation is loved, nothing is condemned. All things are expression of divine creativity. So if someone has more weight on their body than we think they should have, or not enough that we think they should have, or if their hair isn't styled in the way we think it should be, or their nose is shaped in a way that we think it shouldn't be, or their teeth don't look the way we think they should, it doesn't matter. This is the vessel that they're wearing, but their soul is the Spirit of God. So if you love God, then you will love every being, regardless of how they look. When we can do that, then we are spiritually evolved. As long as we're condemning people that we don't understand, or we don't agree, or we don't think they should be the way they are, then we have more growth to go. We have more to learn and more to understand.
And it's all about getting understanding. Does scripture not
Get
tell us that? In
understanding.
all that getting, get
Get
understanding.
understanding. Get understanding.
When you get
Absolutely.
that, you
And
will
I'm so excited
really
when I see these young people and their talent, their skills, their abilities, their free spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need. Let them be free enough to express themselves and enjoy life. When we can do that, then we're going to see the world change, because we'll have free spirits that just bring joy. And that's what we're here to do, experience joy.
And they bring it from a variety of places from all over
Do.
the world. I was
Yes.
so
Yes.
surprised, from Africa, Asia, Europe.
Yes.
Oh, just
Yes.
it's and to hear the accents, and to see the
Yeah.
enthusiasm and the passion from such young people, even preteens. So if you know a teen that is between the ages of 13 and 19, we even have preteens. We don't turn them away. We've had some that are 11
They got
and 12,
talent.
just a few. They got talent. One was like, she was 11 years old, sounding like what was the girl's name? Liz, not Liz Taylor, Liza Minnelli.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
Wow.
oh,
That
really? Okay.
strong voice. Yeah.
One sound like Erica Badu, out Jill Scott. I was like, oh, okay, I'm loving this. Anyway, 13 to 19, ages 13 to 19, send in a 1 minute demo, a video clip via YouTube that showcases their talent, whether they sing, dance, direct, write, promote, whatever they do, whatever their talent is. Send it in 60 minutes, or 60 minutes, 60 seconds
The
or less.
seconds.
60 seconds. And also, if they would like to send in another clip, 10 or 15 seconds, just their name, their age, and
Yeah.
what part of the country they're from, and what their talent is, and what we can expect, just to see a little bit of their personality as well. So you can send that to hlntvshow@gmail.com. And remember, it's got to be a YouTube link, okay? Alrighty, so I
Yeah.
can share that with you. And also, some of the things that we do to promote the virtual global teen talent contest is to offer. Can you see that tree?
Oh, that's
That is,
interesting.
yes, that's some artwork that we got off the internet. I forgot what show that was for, but I just thought it was so appropriate to show
Wow.
when our
Wow.
children are rooted, when our children are rooted in nature, with around
Mm,
grass and trees. This is one of the ways that not only they can evolve, but we can evolve as well. And this is what we offer those who want to support the Teen Talent Contest, so that we can offer them scholarships and prizes and cash as well. So we have some t-shirts
yes.
here. And this is the Inhale Exhale collection. And it's this one,
Ah,
as you can see,
nice.
is inhale affirmations and exhale negative self-talk, whatever that negative self-talk. So mine would
Mm,
be, my affirmations was is to inhale life, love, life and love, just life and love itself, and to exhale any thought that I may have about somebody else that's
right.
negative.
Right. That's right. And when we have negative self-talk, negative thoughts about ourselves, it's some voice somewhere that we may not even realize.
Hmm.
It could be a teacher, a parent, a sibling, a friend, or even an enemy. But someone said something, and our brain recorded it and keeps replaying the recording,
Over and
like
over and
over and over
over.
and over again. Oh, my nose isn't shaped right. Oh, my legs are too skinny.
My feet too
Oh,
flat, my toes
my
too
feet
long,
are too big. Yeah, my toes are too long.
my ears too
All the
big.
things, ears are too big. All of these things that we've heard from somewhere.
Ain't got
Who's to
nothing to
decide
do with
what
us.
dimensions a body should look like?
Media
No,
does. The TV does. Radio
this is
does.
how
Not
you
this
should look.
channel, but most other
So,
your major
mm,
market channels. I'll put it like that.
so I was reading this article about, I guess Mattel is coming up with a new Barbie that has more realistic proportions, because we all grew up with the Barbie doll, which real thin waist, great big breasts, and you know little bitty booty in the back and all that.
Uh-huh.
So they realize that we've been giving a subliminal message to girls that if they're not shaped like this, that there's something wrong with them. So they're trying to
Really?
come up with more
60 years
anatomically
later,
correct
they figured that
Barbie.
out. Okay.
They figured that out. So I guess the new Barbie, her waistline will be a little bigger, her behind will be a little bigger, and you know she may have some variations in terms of facial features. So this is to help girls to accept themselves as they are, because Barbie is different. And I think they even got, a Barbie that might, I don't even know. I don't know if they coming up with a gay Barbie now. I don't know. I like y'all.
It's coming. I'm sure
I'm
it's
gonna leave that
amazing.
alone. But
I'm sure it's
what they're
amazing.
trying to do is reflect in the dolls the idea of acceptance of diversity and different lifestyles or different gender expressions. So I guess that's the attempt, or that's the intention. I think this whole thing with gender is really going to make us examine how we have treated our children over the centuries, how we have programmed them to feel inadequate based on whether they're male or female, and how we really have kind of pitted the sexes against each other. The reason why our relationships are so difficult.
Mm.
We have made it a power struggle, and that's not healthy.
Not at
So
all.
we should be able to enjoy being female and all that it represents. A male should be able to enjoy being a male and all of that represents. All that, however they express it, however we express our femaleness, we should be able to enjoy our personhood, our expression in the physical body of this eternal soul. Whatever way we are expressing our life, we should be able to feel joy and never have the fear of condemnation. We should never have to worry about being teased and ridiculed and humiliated because we don't look right, or we don't sound right, or we're not dressed right. Any of those superficial things that have nothing to do with this eternal spirit, we should never have to fear being ridiculed. So you think of all the centuries where teasing and ridicule has been a part of our childhood upbringing. We have to teach our children, first and foremost, empathy for others.
Yes.
Don't do anything to anyone that you wouldn't want done to you, because this person is an expression of God, just like you are.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are expressions of God. You cannot attack someone without attacking God, your creator. So never do it. Never do it. We got to teach that as a foundation of life, to appreciate all that everybody else brings to this world. Whatever it is, it's something that comes from God. It's something that's good. Appreciate it.
And we just
Never
have to
condemn,
see the
never
good in it.
criticize.
Just have to
See
see
the good.
the good in it.
Because if we don't put bad in our children, it won't be
Excuse me.
there. All of this anger and rage and violence, we put it there.
That's right.
We planted it there
We
by the way we treated them. We did this. It didn't come out of nowhere.
and we can undo
Whether
it.
we can undo it.
And we can
We can
undo it.
undo
And we
this.
can start with our
But you got
breath.
to start with our breath. Start with ourselves. I'm in the process of putting forth the introduction to the online parenting class, Parenting with Peace. And that first step really is to examine what's inside yourself. Because whatever's in you, that's what you're going to put into a child. So if you have any feelings of negativity towards yourself, you have to examine that and figure out where that came from. Did it come from your religious training? Teaching you're born in sin and shaped in
From
iniquity, and
your family,
all these things, or
from the
your
neighbors.
whole family is cursed
Yeah.
because you're a skin color. All this, whatever you've been taught that makes you think there's something lesser, something devalued in yourself. You have to get rid of that before you start raising a child, because you're going to put that on that child unknowingly.
Mhm.
about the things you're going to say, which is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So you got to examine what has been put inside of you that you need to get rid of
And
before
then
you
how
start
do you
raising
get rid
a
of
child.
it? You get rid of it just simply just by becoming quiet and speaking to the ancestors. You can call Big Mama, Uncle Bob, whoever you want to call. Call somebody in your quiet, in your breathing, in your meditation time. I go get a cup of tea and just sit and look out the window and just listen to the wind blow and wait on the answers to come, because that's when they come. When you're quiet, you
Yes,
can't hear it when you listen to everything else. So I hope you've
right.
enjoyed the first episode, releasing the need that created the pattern. You know what my patterns are, so you want to tell me what yours are? Just leave a comment in the section. You know, you can see the Facebook.com HLN TV show or YouTube Higher Learning TV show. I want to thank
Right.
my executive producer of the Female Solution, Naimah Latif. I know I can't. I don't care. All right, girl. Oh, you been trapped in that car long enough. Thank you so much, my sister. I appreciate you. Shalom. Thank you for your comments. Please post them
Still,
on Facebook or YouTube. It's
all right.
been
See you
one.
next.